Hey, welcome to On the Chain. Here with myself, Jeff. You guys know me. Co-host Chip is not on with us tonight, but that's okay. So we got a lot to cover, a lot of great things packed in to the conversation tonight. You know why? Because Ripple XRP. That's why XRP. Actually, Coinbase, the SEC completely out of control. Yes, it becomes relevant to what's going on. SEC v Ripple, loads and loads of retail casualties kind of drifting all over the place. But you know what? With all these things going on, I remain bullish on this space. And as we dissect tonight, we're going to see why, because there is a lot of excitement, a lot of positivity, but we still need to cover this. We still need to understand it. Tons of things going on. If you guys are ready, I'm ready. So we're going to kick this thing off right now. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right. Welcome back. So for all those that are bouncing in here, give a quick shout out to where you're from, because we've got Sean all the way from Alberta, Canada. And then we got XRP Speedboat coming in from Alberta, Ontario. He's up in that Canadian region as well, where it's always cold, never warms up. So what's up, On the Chain family, On the Chain community? Give a quick shout out where you're tuning in from. We have people that tune in from all over the world. Why? Because they're super, super passionate about the cryptocurrency space, and they want to dissect, and they want to learn, and they want to share their commentary with everybody here, because that's what the chat's all about. And the chat, it's like a sideshow going on while we're all, conversing and discussing over here. But you guys are by far the smartest in the crypto space, so appreciate you guys here. And then we've got Mel G coming in all the way from Fort Lauderdale. So awesome to have you here with us as well. Today was a great day. Managed to take my son out to play a little bit of frisbee golf, and that was a blast. Hot, bugs started coming out, and then we hit the road. So all right, let's kick this thing off. I want to talk. If you guys saw the thumbnail, right? You gotta dig into, and you've got to see the thumbnail. So if you didn't have any time to really get into it and look at the thumbnail, then now is the time. We need to pull this up real quick, because Coinbase and the disaster, the retail investors, all these great things that are going on in this space. Hang on one second. Let's see if I can pull this over real quick. I'm sure you guys saw it, but we need to blow this thing up a little bit. Let's start with this. Let's start with, how about if we start with the thumbnail? I think that's a good place to start. There we go. Here's the thumbnail. So you've got the car, right? You've got Gary over here, got Coinbase. They're about to destroy. You got the Uniswap down here. I don't know if you guys saw this stuff. Library kind of flying up in the air. Obviously, you've got Ripple, XRP over here. You got a little bit of Robinhood coming off the tread, and there's your retail investor. So kind of a dissecting the thumbnail. Who's driving? So that's the question, because Gary's in the back seat. So not sure exactly who's driving over here. But he's over there. He's in the back seat. So, all right. Thought that was a cool place to start. All right, let's dig in. So, Coinbase, right? So we saw the announcement that the SEC is now going after Coinbase, and this is interesting, because as they go after Coinbase, then we've actually seen some commentary from Brad Garlinghouse to the CEO of Coinbase. And so we're going to look at that here in a second. But let's pull this up. So we've got here, Coinbase threat signals Gensler is getting tough on crypto. Do you think that was the signal? Yeah, we don't have a subscription. All right. So it's getting close to the end. So here, do we think that it was the SEC going after Coinbase that is saying, hey, you know what? Gensler's getting tough on crypto. Or have we been talking about how tough he's been getting on crypto right from day one when he popped in? I like that. Michael saying Clayton is driving, and that's very well possible. He's speeding. He's so fast. He's trying to get to Coinbase. Doesn't care about all the ramification along the way, because the one thing that is certain, right? The one thing that's certain, it's as though the SEC is like a drunk driver, driving, with their eyes closed down a busy street and just barreling, towards a busy downtown intersection with people walking all over the place. And then you've just got all the collateral damage. You've got all of them just flying by, and they don't even realize, all the collateral damage, nor do they care. But here, so now Gary's getting tough, right? He's getting super tough on crypto. And so we look at here, SEC enforcement warning sends message to the entire industry. So here, look at the difference in language, right? We go from regulatory clarity to enforcement. SEC enforcement, right? Where's the conversation about regulatory clarity? How do we go from regulation to enforcement? Enforcement is that overregulation, that overzealousness that we've talked about a lot. And so that's exactly what we have here. Now here it says, Coinbase labels agencies' aggressiveness sketchy behavior. How do you like that? I love that. I love that commentary. Sketchy behavior. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Gary Gensler put the crypto industry on notice of how far the regulator will go to tame a market he's labeled the Wild West of finance. So here he is. Now he wants to tame it, right? So we have taming, we have enforcement. Oh, where's our yellow? We got enforcement and threatening to sue Coinbase if the exchange lets customers earn interest on their digital tokens. The SEC sent a warning to other firms already offering similar products or content. So here, this is interesting. So now we have a whole slew of companies that are going to end up lining up behind Coinbase. So they're now going to single out Coinbase. Why? Because they are allowing their customers, the retail investors, to earn interest. How dare they? How dare they allow the retail investors to earn interest? They're not allowed to do that. You can't have interest-bearing accounts when banks can barely pay 0.00%. How dare they do that? How dare they pay, 5% or 6% or 10%? How dare they do that? They can't allow people to make money. That's not the right way to do things, right? So here you see the SEC sent a warning. Here's another one. They sent a warning, right? So how do you go from regulatory clarity to tame? Obviously, it is sketchy behavior, to enforcement, sending a warning to other firms that are already offering similar products. The move is the clearest sign yet under Gensler. The regulator will aggressive. There's another word. Aggressively use its powers. Another word, right? Thwart. Here's another one. Thwart that it's uncomfortable with. Not that doesn't meet regulation, not that falls within the purveyorship or the guidance of the SEC, that the SEC is supposed to look out for retail investors. No, they're going to aggressively use their powers to thwart uncomfortable products that the SEC is uncomfortable with. Therefore, they are going to tame it through aggressive enforcement. That's what I get out of this article. Privately, ex-SEC officials said they were shocked by the agency's posture. There you go. Shocked, right? It's shocking. It's like, what in the world is going on? What are they doing? This is just, it's insane, right? It's as though they've lost their minds. The former official said the SEC typically waits for firms to start selling investments before announcing possible sanctions, indicating the agency has found a forceful way to shut down cutting-edge crypto offerings it fears are putting so it fears again. So it fears it's putting consumers at risk because they're products that they are uncomfortable with. That they being the SEC or Gensler, the MIT teacher, right? Remember he taught at MIT, but he wants to aggressively use their powers to thwart these products that are allowing retail investors to earn interest. How dare they do that, right? And they want to now tame this market through enforcement. And they're sending warning signs to the entire industry. Now, what in the world's going on? So obviously they declined to comment because this is outlandish. It's like it's craziness. It's crazy talk, right? It was one thing, hey, you're going to go after Ripple and you're going to make some claims about Ripple selling an unregistered security, and you want to go after the two heads of that were selling XRP, and you want to make claims that it was an unregistered security. Go after them. But now they're coming after Coinbase for daring to offer interest for anyone who puts their digital asset in their cold storage. It's asinine, right? So now I'm looking at this at the very end of the subject line today. I said, you know what? There's a coalition, a true blockchain coalition forming, and we're seeing the beginnings of it. Imagine you could see when the plate tectonics, were merging together to create mountains back in the day. And they're merging and forming and creating these massive mountainous structures. So now what we're seeing is Ripple and Coinbase, and soon we're going to see others. Maybe we'll see Celsius. Maybe we'll see Gemini. Maybe you'll start seeing this cohesion of exchanges throughout the United States that are now going to stand up to the overreach and the overzealousness of what the SEC is doing. Right. So here's the big welcoming. Let me see if I can get this one up here. Here we go. This is great. Brad Garlinghouse, right? So he posts this to Coinbase. So Brian Armstrong, and we're going to go through item by item, Brian Armstrong's post about the SEC had a rant, 20 tweets long, a rant about this, right? But look at Brad Garlinghouse. Welcome to the party, pal. That's Brad Garlinghouse to Brian Armstrong. You know what the party is? The party is getting sued by the SEC. It's awesome, right? SEC suing Coinbase's karma for delisting XRP. Coinbase might as well relist XRP. I'm looking at XRP Crypto Wolf, and you know what? He might have something there. Hey, you know what? Stand up, take a stand, and say, you know what? Enough's enough. Look at the red pill. Take the red pill right there. XRP Yoda says, legendary tweet. Ripple tried to help the government and the world have cheaper, faster payments. And what does the SEC do to them? Basically, they shit on them. That's what XRP Yoda is saying right here. And if you think about it, if you think about the direction all of this is taken, think about the game-changing solution that Ripple puts on the table, that the XRP ledger is, that the XRP digital asset is. It's a game-changing technology that puts Swift to shame. All these companies and banks, central banks and governments running around right now trying to figure out the CBDCs. All they have to do is go knock on the door of Ripple and say, hey, you guys figure this out. Maybe you can help us a little bit. Maybe you can show us the way. But instead, what do? And think about everything that Coinbase had to go through to get their IPO when they did their direct listing. It's a publicly traded company right now. They've had to go through all of this scrutiny to get to where they are. And now Gensler, due to whoever's pulling the strings, because someone here said, did he really teach at MIT? But you go back and you watch some of the courses that he taught. I don't think he was a full-fledged professor at MIT, but I believe he taught a course there. But it's crazy. So here they are, they're coming after him. just like they're coming after everybody else. Now, what is the one thing that Stuart Alderati, and we're going to look at a tweet from him as well, and Brad Garlinghouse said in the beginning when the SEC came after them, they said, we're not going to settle. We're going all the way. They both have come out and said, basically, you can make some inference from this. You can make some assumption, I guess. But they both basically said they're there to defend the entire crypto space, that this lawsuit isn't SEC v. Ripple. It's not going after XRP investors, retail investors, as the SEC, they single them out and they've made fun of, and they've undermined individual investors in the digital asset XRP. I think it's unprecedented. I don't know that if the SEC has ever gone after another shareholder and said, these shareholders just aren't technologically smart enough to comprehend what they're doing. It's mind-boggling. And what's crazy about it is every video, we try to take a step away from the SEC. We say, you know what? We can't keep talking about it. I feel like we're just kind of beating a dead horse. But every day the SEC gives us new fodder, and it's just a constant cycle of conversation. And we look at all of this and we see the development here. But now you understand, and I understand clearly, why it is that there isn't going to be a settlement and there can't be a settlement. The only way is to see the case all the way through and have a clear-cut judgment. And from that clear-cut judgment, you then develop and design something called a ripple test that will then allow all other crypto companies that are in the same boat to be judged upon. It won't just be some Howey test and oranges, or an orange grove that's going to drive the test. It will be a ripple test. And maybe there's attorneys in here, and maybe I'm off base. Maybe you can achieve that through settlement. I just don't think you can. I believe you need a full, final, clear-cut judgment to say, here's what happened. It's very, very clear. And here's what we see the parties. And the SEC, by the way, from judgment, you guys have overreached. You've been overzealous. You've stepped where you shouldn't have stepped. You've said things you shouldn't have said. And you lose. How else do you come out of this where the crypto industry as a whole is protected? Because if it's not Coinbase, if it's not XRP, who's next? Who's the next in line that's going to face this penalty based on the first article that we are reading from Bloomberg, where they are uncomfortable? The SEC is just uncomfortable with the product. So they're going to aggressively use their powers to thwart other products that they're uncomfortable with. Why? Because they want to do it through enforcement, not regulatory clarity. Look at regulation. Sounds bad. Regulatory clarity sounds nice and free and lively and exciting, right? Regulatory clarity is kind of juicy, It's like, oh, we get some clarity. But then you get enforcement, right? And it's uncomfortable because they're going to use their powers. And why are they doing all that? Because they have fears that it's putting consumers at risk. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit. Because if they were really worried about consumers, they would look and they would say, hey, you know what? Maybe we're doing the wrong thing. Maybe these guys are onto something in this DeFi space. Is there scamming going on? Yes. Can you figure out how to shut it down? Yes. Should you go aggressively because you're uncomfortable with something? Since when is uncomfortable a mechanism to judge anything by? But you know what? That terminology of them being uncomfortable is it's symptomatic of the entire political echelon of our time right now. Right? It's emotional. They're not using logic or fact or reality or actually legal precedent. They're just using emotions. They're uncomfortable as an emotion. Being uncomfortable is an emotion. It's not thinking through it logically to identify a proper outcome. Hence is why you need to have a clear-cut judgment that's based on law, not based on emotion. And right now, that's all we're seeing is the SEC acting on emotion. Want to give a quick shout out. I saw that come through. XRP Speedboat. What is up? Don't ever forget the rope-a-dope. There you go. The rope-a-dope. Coinbase will rip the SEC apart with Tom Emmer's help. The SEC stepped in it. I know you guys don't like getting political. 2022 is a reckoning. There's going to be a massive reckoning. And you've got a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline. Tom Emmer's security clarity bill will sort it all. There's a lot coming down the pipeline. You can't get a ripple test from a settlement. The judge has to rule on it. Jay the Great. Exactly. So why would anybody want a settlement? I don't think Ripple wants a settlement. The SEC certainly doesn't want a settlement. If the SEC wanted a settlement, then they would have settled. They would have put their cards on the table and said, here's what we want, right? We're open to settling. Instead, they want to use enforcement, and they're using emotion because they're uncomfortable with things that are happening because they believe to their core, at least what they're telling us, that they're protecting the consumer. I don't think they believe it, but I think they're saying it. All right. So check this out. This stuff is crazy. This stuff is so outlandish. I swear. I don't even know where to start because it's just outlandish. The whole thing. Every day is outlandish. Every day is a new day. Every day you turn on the news or you do something and it's a new day. This one, I would have overlooked this one. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention the past couple of days. And then the 20 tweets long from Brian Armstrong. There you go. You get a ripple test from the Supreme Court. We're going to get a test. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. So let's see. 2022. It can't come fast enough. And it's coming. And they don't know what to do about it. And it is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Americans are too scared to stand up for their rights. You see it every day, but this is going to have an impact that's going to reverberate around the world. Why? There's a video here somewhere with Clayton, and it was shared around Twitter, and he was basically saying if the companies want to leave because they're not comfortable with what we're doing, then let them leave. You know what? You want to hear the sucking sound of a vacuum when the last digital asset company that builds leaves the United States and you have that vacuum seal that seals. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have a brain drain from the Americas. You know why? Because they can go to El Salvador. El Salvador's got cheap power over there for mining. El Salvador just launched Bitcoin. It's official. Bitcoin Day. Bitcoin Day. September 7th is now Bitcoin Day in its infamy forever. Bitcoin Day, just like Pizza Day. Bitcoin Day is the day that Bitcoin went legal currency in El Salvador. You want to see a brain drain? You want to see other countries that used to be considered developing countries become first world leaders in this space? And you're going to see it so fast that people's heads are going to spin. It's going to be insane, right? It's going to be crazy how fast it's going to happen. But maybe that's what they're trying to do anyways. I don't know. You got China going over to Afghanistan. They're going to start pulling all sorts of resources out of the ground. You've got Russia building pipelines, and they're going to start enriching themselves again on gas. And you've got the U.S. shutting down all their energy production for 2050. They're like, oh, we're going to go carbon zero by 2050. The last I looked, 2050 isn't next year. 2050 is a couple years away, maybe 29 years. So you want to go carbon neutral? How about make sure that your Your goods are secured right now and your money is well kept. Make sure you stay wealthy along the way, because the next 29 years is going to be a rough 29 years, especially if you start pushing all of the crypto companies outside of the United States. There's a lot of countries out there that are just waiting. They're so excited. They're like, come on, let it happen, because cryptocurrency is a global phenomenon. It's all over the world. It's everywhere. Cyprus, there. I don't know about Cyprus. I don't know. Is Cyprus a good place for crypto? Venezuela. I don't know. I don't want to go to Venezuela. Cuba's also looking at crypto. I wouldn't want to go there, but how about, there's some other place with cheap power, like you can go to Iceland, maybe. Iceland's got some volcano power where it's good. BZ says we need to clean house every politician, but ship them all to Catalina Island. There you go. They can do the Gilligan, knows that the 3-hour tour, and just let them go on a 3-hour, send them all to an island somewhere. China has 20,000 metric tons of gold. U.S. has 13 tons that we know of, a lot more, but not counted. It's coming down to that. They're pulling all sorts of stuff now out of Afghanistan. That's what's going to happen with China. All right, well, let's go over to this. Let's look at Brian Armstrong, right? Number one tweet. Some really sketchy behavior coming out of the SEC recently. Story time. What a way to start your tweet. Now, is he going to sit back and take it? You got Gensler, Mr. MIT himself, coming after Coinbase. Coinbase sees what's going on over there. He sees what's going on over there with Ripple, and he's like, hey, forget this. They're not thinking, 100%. So, we got to figure out what the heck's going on over here. Hey, I've got one of the calls coming in that wants some money. So check it out. Millions of crypto holders have been earning yield on their assets over the last few years. It makes sense. If you want to lend out your funds, you can earn a return. Everyone seems happy. Yeah. So, which consumers are at risk? Who's not happy? So they're lending it out, earning interest. Everything's great. Coinbase had to go through a lot to launch their IPO, even though they did a direct listing. I mean, it's crazy, right? But you got to stay bullish with all of this. To me, this is even more exciting when now they're coalescing. The coalition is coming together, and they're going to stand up against the nonsense, the absolute insanity. It's crazy. This is the greatest thing. Someone says, so Paul is saying best for crypto. This is the best thing ever. Even right now, Portugal, he's mentioning Portugal, but this coalition, the SEC continuously striking out against companies that are building in this space. They're it's the greatest thing ever. It really is. I'm bullish on the whole concept of it. A bunch of great companies in crypto have been offering versions of this for years. Coinbase came out recently and said we'd be launching our own version. They're going live in a few weeks. So we reached out to SEC, give them a friendly heads up and a briefing. Earn 4% on USD coin. The Fed is 100% threatened. They're looking at this. Interest rates are at 0, right? Your interest rates are the lowest ever. Coinbase is going to pay 4% on a stable coin. On the USDC, 4%. They're looking at it. They're not thinking logically. They're now thinking emotionally that, holy crap, there's going to be a run on the banks. Everybody's going to run to Coinbase. Everyone's going to take their money, put it in a USDC, and throw it over on Coinbase. You go over to Celsius, they're paying sometimes 10.5%. Coinbase wants to pay 4%. 4% is a hell of a lot better than 0. So they give them a heads up. What do? They're telling them the lend features a security. What? What? These guys have lost their minds. They've completely lost their minds. What in the world are they smoking over at the SEC? What in the world is going on over there? This has absolutely nothing to do with the legitimacy of digital asset. It has everything to do with what Bloomberg in their article talked about. They're uncomfortable. They're going to be aggressive, and they want to use the powers that they have to thwart any product that is in direct competition or they're uncomfortable with. That's exactly what the Bloomberg article references. That's exactly what Brian Armstrong is talking about. Actually, you know what? I did put him on hold. Hang on. Let's hang on a second. Let's get him on the line real quick. Let's see if we can find him.
Gary!
We'll see if that works. See if that brings him out. Oh, there we go. Quick shout out to Mel G. Mel G, what's going on? Appreciate your support. Coinbase should relist XRP just to mess with the SEC. Get the XRP army fired up. If it wasn't bad enough, the SEC going after Ripple. Now, could you imagine the SEC going after Coinbase and the XRP army shows up at every case? 4,000, 5,000 people trying to get on the phones. Then you've got the Coinbase people. You got the XRP people. Everyone's going to be fired up and fueled over this. It's insane, right? It's insane. It's Jesse saying Coinbase is like the 14th company with a lend feature. So there's nothing to do with that. USDC is now a secure. It's not the USDC. It's the earned interest. They're earning interest on their money. So now, according to this logic, according to the illogic, the emotional tirade of the child over at the SEC is that earning interest is now a security. Therefore, banks that pay interest are securities. Maybe in the Middle East, it's haram. You know, it's against the law. It's bad to earn interest. Yeah. Maybe you need a Sharia compliant or halal type of lending over in the Middle East to be okay, but this isn't the Middle East. And the last time I checked, earning interest is okay. So Brian Armstrong says, so we asked the SEC to help us understand and share their view. We always make an effort to work proactively with regulators and keep an open mind. They reached out to them. They said, this is what we're doing. We're just giving you a heads up. And what happens? The SEC turns around and slaps them. Bap. And they expect, hey, stay down. Go back to your corner. Bap. They smack them, thinking that Brian's like, are you kidding? Did you really just do that? But Coinbase charges 3% to buy and cash out. I wonder if they will do that when you buy USDC. I don't know. You know, I really don't. You know, it's crazy because you're moving into a stable coin and you have to pay the fees in order to move over. And some of the assets have big fees when you move them. Like USDC, you do pay some pretty decent fees when you move the asset off exchange from Coinbase to another exchange. Oh my God, it's horrible, right? Popoff is saying the U.S. is like everybody around the world right now. I was watching something with Nigel, what's his name, from the UK, the Brexit guy, and he was saying that it was either him or Tony Blair was saying that the U.S. is isolated now. They're on an island. They no longer have any friends around the world. All of their friends are gone. They've done such a great job. And now, now look what we've got. Oh my God. It's crazy. The world's like, hey, whatever, you don't want it, send them out, because guess what? They get to go all these other places around the world that want them. And like, we're Portugal. You brought up Portugal. Paul was bringing up Portugal. There you go. Go to Portugal. Go down to El Salvador and get some free volcano power. How about that? I bet they are. They probably still are running a node. It's crazy. It's like nothing makes sense. The whole world is upside down. Let's put it that way. Where we've entered into an alternate universe that all of us are like, we were over here and now we're over here and nothing makes sense anymore. It's all crazy because, it's all emotional tirades. So Brian Armstrong says, so we asked the SEC to help us understand. Please explain to us and share your view. We always make an effort to work proactively. So the SEC refuses to tell us why they think it's a security and instead subpoena a bunch of records from us. They comply. Demand testimony from their employees. They comply. And then tell us that they'll be suing us if we proceed to launch with zero. So you go forward, we're suing you. SEC, sue crazy. They're insane. The SEC has become a bunch of bullies. They're just bullying all these companies. They thought they would pick on Ripple, right? They go after Ripple and they're like, well, Ripple's going to back down. There's no way. There's no way Ripple is gonna stand up against us because we're the SEC, and they're not going to stand up against us. And so obviously we see how well they're fighting the lawsuit against Ripple. Oh, they're doing such a stellar job. It's outstanding. They're obviously winning. So why in the world would they want to now file a lawsuit against Coinbase? Right? 7. We're not even through 20. We're in number 7. This is pure gold. This is pure gold. Because we haven't even talked about Uniswap. The fact that they want to investigate Uniswap now. Because of course, Uniswap is, allowing people in a decentralized environment to enrich themselves. That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with protecting retail investors. Zero. I mean, if we believe that they were there to protect retail investors, you just think about, go back to where the real estate crash. They started blaming and pointing fingers on investors. It was all the investors flipping the real estate. That's why there was a real estate bubble. Had nothing whatsoever to do with how the government was pushing banks into providing financing and loans to those that couldn't afford them. They never talk about that part of it. That part was irrelevant. But they want to focus on the retail investors. Just like now, the chaos. Think about this. This is the insanity. This is how everything is ass backwards right now. Think about the rent moratorium, right? Don't pay your rent because of what happened, right? We're a year and a half in. Don't worry. Don't pay your rent. You don't have to pay your rent. But guess what? The person that owns your property has a mortgage and they need to pay their mortgage. But screw the property owner. Screw that person, because you're a renter and you're obviously in a worse shape than the property owner. So don't pay your rent. You can avoid it. What logic does that make? I know a lot of people that own properties and they're not multi-billionaires. They're doing okay for themselves because they have multiple properties. But if you have your properties and they stop paying rent, these are normal everyday people. They might own 10 properties. Maybe they have 5, maybe they have 3, maybe they have 20. What difference does it make? As soon as the renters stop collecting rent, they can't pay the bank. But guess what? The banks are still wanting their money because the government didn't say, hey, if you have a mortgage and your renter isn't paying, that you also don't have to pay. So they're basically screwing those people that have owned property, that have built their lives up from nothing, from zero to own properties. This is how, who are they protecting? The whole thing is ass backwards. This is all it's all symptomatic. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? So 7, look, we're committed to following the law. Sometimes the law is unclear. So if the SEC wants to publish guidance, we're also happy to follow it. It's nice if we actually enforce it evenly across the industry. By the way, what are they? He's hinting at something there. Big shout out to XRP Speedboat again. I hung a picture of Gary on the wall 3 weeks ago and lost 20 pounds. Congratulations. New diet. It's called the Gary diet. There you go. This stuff's insane. And we haven't even talked about what they're getting ready to do with Robinhood. Right? They're going after Robinhood, and we've got Kathy Woods from ARK Invest over here. Some of the statements that she made. Let me pull some of this stuff up, because look, obviously there's more to it, because they're over, expanding their investment, their horizon. Bitcoin is the future despite billionaire haters. That's Kathy Wood. Cryptocurrency market is far from a bubble. Are we in a bubble? We couldn't be further from it. The average investor doesn't understand how proactive these next 5 to 15 years are going to be, as these S-curves feed one another and enter exponential growth trajectories that we've never seen before, referencing cryptocurrency. She entered into a major disagreement with billionaire investor John Paulson, who criticized Bitcoin and other cryptos. So here's Kathy Woods saying, forget that, I'm bullish. This thing's taking off, regardless of what you do, regardless of what they say, regardless of all those that are on top. Forget about that. The crypto market is going big. It's either going big or it's going home, and it's going big because it's insane, right? And you got Kathy Wood, and you've got all the critics of Kathy Wood that have come out over this entire time. She's built ARK Invest, and they critique her and they attack her. And yet she's made it regardless of what they've said, right? And then you go over to the Reddit, right? And you look at some of the Reddit group here. And in the Reddit group, you've got, so look at this. You can read that. You go, quite honestly, sick of all the empty, self-righteous tweets. Hey, give him a break. It's only this 20th week. He's got big issues to tackle, like gamification. And they get into it. Yeah, he can talk as much as he wants. If there's no action, he can go suck mayonnaise. What? Unless GG faces some consequences like jail, he'll behave in this crooked criminal way to F over retail. The list is getting long. These are people from Robinhood, from the GameStop. So you think all these guys over there are happy? That wasn't just Kenny. Okay, hang on. Gary, I'm looking into a Gensler. I'm pretty sure his cop on the beat quote has something to do. Okay. All right. So you can see how excited these guys are, right? Nobody's happy. From the crypto side, across the board, they're looking at this guy like, what in the world is this guy doing? Oh, because he was at the MIT, the guy's a scientist. What? That's their big thing is follow the science. Follow the science, because the scientists and those guys are smart. The last I look, you put a couple scientists in a room and they're not always going to agree on everything, right? Because especially if you have something brand new, you have some brand new whatever they find in science and they're trying to figure it out. And you got this opinion, that opinion, this opinion, that. All of a sudden they're like, it's one opinion. No, your opinion doesn't count anymore because it's contrary to our opinion. So you're out, and this is science and that's not science, right? They're picking the winners and the losers across the board with everything, whether it's science or economics, and they keep singling those two out. Listen to the economists. The economists know. Well, which economists are we listening to? Are we listening to the economists that we agree with? Or are we going to listen to the economists that you agree with, that have your political agenda in mind? That's your economists. They're going to fight for your politics. Or how about your scientists that aren't practicing science anymore and they're fighting for your politics, right? It's crazy. Popoff says SEC is going to sue to Gecko for saving me 15% in 15 minutes. There you go. You just saved 15%. So guess what? There you go. Now it's a security, by the way. That 15% is a security. You're not getting it anymore. You're done. It's a security. According to the new rules of the SEC, any savings is now considered a security. Or you want to earn a little bit of interest, done. Science is supposed to be repeatable, predictable. If it's not, it's politics. Exactly. It's like science. Like it's like, at this point, it's just like your whole head's exploding because of the insanity of it. And the beauty of it is that as bad as they get, right, you keep giving them a longer and longer rope, and let them shorten the rope, or you keep giving them some rope, and you're like, here you go, because you guys are putting yourselves in a really bad predicament. And here's Coinbase. But in this case, they're refusing to offer any opinion in writing to the industry on what should be allowed and why. Instead, are engaging in intimidation tactics behind closed doors. Whatever their theory is, it feels like a reach land grab versus other regulators. That's it. It's power. So we go back to this. It's power. They want to thwart products that they're uncomfortable with. When Coinbase figures that part out, and they're like, you're coming after us because you're not comfortable with it, because of your emotions. Like, we give a crap about your emotions, your emotional state, because you're uncomfortable. Maybe, turn up the AC, or maybe you need a sweater. I don't know. He looks like he needs a sweater. Things are heating up. We got to extend the show for like 2 hours. We're not even a number. Where are we over here? We're in number 8. We're going to have to make this like an 8-part series. Come back for season 2. We'll be on number 20. So Brian Armstrong, 9. Meanwhile, plenty of other crypto companies continue to offer lend feature. But now Coinbase, you go over in the corner. You can't do what all these other guys are doing. It's awesome. 10. Gensler in his confirmation hearing. It's important for the SEC to provide guidance and clarity, Gensler said. Sometimes that's a clarity that will be a thumbs up, but even if it's thumbs down, it's important to provide that. What in the hell is he talking about? Well, zero clarity, zero enforcement, all about emotion, all about insanity, right? It's like, this is just pure gold. This is gold. I mean, this is the greatest thing ever. I hope to God the Ripple attorneys bring this in to their case and say the SEC has lost their minds. Completely lost their minds, right? They're going to roll this out. September 28th, they're going to be there with the SEC, and they're saying, look what Brian Armstrong said. There's some really sketchy behavior coming from the SEC. What do you guys have to say about this story? It's outlandish. What are you guys doing over there? You guys are their attorneys. Maybe you can explain this. Explain why they're getting all crazy like this with Coinbase. After you got all crazy like this with Ripple. Brian Armstrong, if you don't want this activity, then simply publish your position in writing and enforce it evenly across. Publish. Don't do it through legal actions. Don't enforce your powers, right? We got to go back to our terminology. This is the new SEC terminology. Enforcement, tame, right? Warnings, aggressive, power, thwart, and uncomfortable. That's the new SEC lexicon of how they're going to deal with anybody that they believe doesn't fit within their little package of insanity, right? They're going to enforce them, and they're going to send them warning messages because they need to tame this market, because in their opinion, it's the Wild West. And they're going to send out warning letters because they are going to use their own powers to stop anything that they're uncomfortable with. It's insane. Send that over to Brian. Brian needs to look at that and be like, see, even the guys over at Bloomberg see what you guys are doing. 12, ostensibly the SEC's goal is to protect investors and create fair markets. That's what they were made for, or that's what they designed them to do, right? So who are they protecting? And where's the harm? People seem pretty happy to be earning yield on these various products across lots of other crypto companies. Hell, 4% on USDC, 5%. Put your Bitcoin, get 6%, get 20%. I don't care. You know, everyone's pretty happy, except for those that are playing around and they're then leveraging options, you know, and they put their options out there. Come on. Pop off again. Thank you. So are tips securities because you're waiting for the effort of someone else? Denny's, you're next. That's right. Tips. I'm giving them a tip because, you know, that's it. They had to benefit from my effort of eating. Holy cow. I was eating all this stuff, all this food I was eating. And that's a lot of effort for me to eat all this food. So, oh my God. Oops. Wrong one. It's insane though. SEC reminds me of a kid who yells when you feed them vegetables. I want some clarity. Give us the clarity. Eat your broccoli. What's all right? Pull up Coinbase. What the hell? Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me go to the CoinGecko. Hang on a second. What's going on in the world? I see past 7 days, XRP is down about 9%. The past 24 hours, down 1.8%. Bitcoin's down about 5%. The market went through a little bit of a roller coaster, but you know who's way up is Solana up 85% in the past 7 days, 20% in the past 24 hours, and 8.6% in the last hour. XRP's up 0.7 in the last hour at $1.12. I thought it hit like $1.39 at one point. Man. Oh, Coinbase. All right, hang on a second. Go to prices. XRP is 82%. What in the world? Hang on. I want it to stick. Oh well. We'll get rid of it. Where to go? Where is it? Oh, nope. Oh, there it is right here. 82 cents. Coinbase, 82 cents. 28% drop. I think that's a mistake. I can't imagine. Sol's at $205. Uniswap's at 23. People are talking about Uniswap in the single digits. But XRP at 82 cents. Yeah, I don't know. So 13. Shutting these down would arguably be causing harming consumers more than protecting them. And by preventing Coinbase from launching the same thing that other companies already have live, they're creating an unfair market. Really? The SEC making the determination like that? So you're going to destroy the opportunity of people to earn interest when the banks are paying 0% because of the inflationary currencies that are fiat. Go figure. Maybe you failed your economics class. You know, I don't know. It's crazy. Brian, look, in May of this year, I traveled to DC to meet with every regulator and branch of government I could. They were talking about their product. XLM's at 0.006 on Coinbase. Man, hang on a second. I closed it. Now I got to reopen it. Hang on a minute. Oh, I just opened CoinGecko. Hang on. Hang on a second. Can you actually buy? Is XLM seriously trading? Where is it? Doesn't even come up on the page. It's so low, it's not coming up on the page. Let me search it up. Hang on. XLM. No, it's showing at 0.34, 34 cents. Stellar Gold. I never heard of that. I don't know what that is. XLM up 0.09. I don't know what that is either. Crazy. All right. So he goes to, Brian Armstrong says the SEC was the only regulator that refused to meet with him, saying we're not meeting with any crypto companies. This was right after we became the first crypto company to go. The SEC, think about this insanity, right? They're in DC for a week, meeting with regulators, meeting with everyone that'll meet with them. And what does the SEC say foolishly? What do they say foolishly? We're not meeting with any crypto companies right now. Just because you went public, oh, well, we're not meeting with you. The insanity of it. And I mean, it just shows you that they don't care. They don't care. Genzo had been confirmed a month prior. So I brushed it off as the SEC still getting under its feet, getting its feet under it. Now I'm not so sure. Brian's 100% spot on with 16. It had nothing to do with him being new because this guy taught at MIT. He knew all the ins and outs of cryptocurrency. He could have met with them. He wasn't making a decision. It's not like Brian said, hey, I'm going to come meet with the SEC and we want you to make a final decision on what we're working on. Like right now, you got to make this decision. Brian. So we've always tried to be good actors in the space, leaning into sensible regulation, even when it's difficult or expensive, kind of like delisting XRP. They tried to be good stewards. What did that get them to be good stewards? They got smacked. Bat, smack them, bat, smack them again. Get out of here, Brian. Get out of here with your Coinbase. We're not going to meet with you. Get out of here. Get out of here. We try to think, oh, could you imagine? Brian's up in DC, right? Brian's walking around DC and he's walking around the halls and trying to find the SEC. And here's Brian.
Gary!
Oh my God. I mean, it's just, this is brilliant. This is gold. I mean, I can't believe we're reading through this stuff. So Norseman saying it's still 83 cents, 86. I think there's something going on Coinbase because you can't buy it over there anyways. Probably something going on with just on Coinbase, how they report it. CoinGecko is still showing it normal at $1.12. But hey, if it dips down to 83, maybe 50, maybe back down to 20, I don't know. 10. So, you know, we've always tried to be good actors. We try to think about what products we want for ourselves and what risks we'd want our families to be aware of before launching the product. We want it to be safe. They're a custodian. We'll always follow this approach. Yet here we're being threatened with legal action before a single bit of actual guidance has been given to the industry on these products. So instead of the SEC never came out, no guidance, no discussion. Coinbase, we're going to sue you if you roll out that product because if you pay interest, it's a security. Could you imagine that? I mean, the insanity of it, zero guidance. And who says it's a security? Based on what logic? What rule? Based on what? Is it the action of others? Are you investing in a company? The last I looked, you're earning interest just like you earn interest. So now banks that are earning interest on your money, you put your money in there, they pay you nothing. They lend out that money. They're making money, right? Think about you go get a mortgage, 3-something%. You get a business loan, 7-8%. You get a car loan, 2.5%, 3%. They're loaning out the money, making pretty good interest and paying you almost zero, basically zero. I love it. 20. If we end up in court, we may finally get the regulatory clarity the SEC refuses to provide, but regulation by litigation should be the last resort. So Brian is saying, hey, you want to sue us? Sue us, because you guys can't do it. There's no regulatory clarity coming from you. Brian's mistake is that it isn't the SEC that should be providing regulatory clarity. It should be Congress. And the Token Taxonomy Act has gone through 3 iterations of bills being presented. Someone else earlier brought up Tom Emmer, and he's got a couple bills right now in front of Congress they need to pass. So Congress can do it. The SEC can operate and try to understand the rules in front of them, but the SEC should not come out and try to rule and provide any type of clarity or direction by constantly suing. He's sue crazy. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue this one. Then I'm going to sue that one. Then we're going to sue Library. Then we're going to go after Robinhood, for their thing. And they're letting, the way they're giving out, letting people trade, free trades. And they're paying money on the back end, and they're doing this, and people are making money, and we can't have that. We don't want people making money. We can't have the retail investors making money. Let's just run right over them and put the SEC car treads all over the retail investors, because across the board, this is why I'm so fired up, is across the board, whether it's the crypto space, which is the innovation, which is the future, and they're just crushing it every step. If it wasn't the Senate with a ridiculous infrastructure bill with $1.3 trillion of infrastructure and like 8% going to infrastructure, the rest just going to who knows what. 8% of 1.3 trillion. Nothing going to infrastructure. The infrastructure that's needed all over the US. Hey, how about having some modern trains? Amtrak, screw Amtrak, right? You got these trains over in Asia and Europe that are like state of the art. Down here, we have some private trains that they're building private tracks at first. And it's, I haven't been on it yet. It just reopened. It's supposed to be beautiful. And it's going to go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to West Palm Beach up to Orlando. And then they're adding new stops. And eventually it's going to go Orlando over to Tampa. All Florida is going to be connected with this brand new train that's privately funded. That's infrastructure, private funding. Get some tax breaks along the way, right? But this is what's going on right now. It's insane. Stop people from making money. Brian, our door remains open. Hopefully the SEC steps up to create the clarity this industry deserves. Again, he makes a mistake because the SEC cannot create the clarity. It can't happen. It's either going to happen, there's going to be a new test, and there's going to be a new direction with the SEC v. Ripple case, or you're going to have to have some regulation that is presented through bills in Congress that are passed through both the House, the Senate, and get signed off by the president. But I don't know if that's possible between now and 2024. I honestly don't. We just saw the Senate vote this ridiculous infrastructure bill, and then they threw crypto under the bus. I'm like, there you go, crypto. Get in that bill. Get in that 5,000-page bill. We don't want to deal with you. Get in there. Jump in. Cram them into the back. That's how they treat it. It's like, whatever. Right? And the SEC's like, whatever. We don't care about you, Coinbase. We're going to just, all those retail investors, screw those retail investors. They're not smart enough to understand the technology of what they're doing anyways. They don't know how to trade. All those people, they made all that money. Some people lost a lot of money, but hey, you know what? Maybe you got to live and learn. But come on, they need to do their job. Hopefully the SEC steps up, right? Without harming consumers and companies in the process. Spot on. So far, every step of the way, the SEC is just like, it's devastating for consumers. It's devastating for these companies. Devastating. It's outlandish. Man, what are we, like an hour or something? Hang on, we'll get through this last one. This is going to be a little extended version because it's fun, right? America could really use us all working together to figure this out right now. Right now, people need money. People need to find a way to enrich themselves. People just went through a year of closures, and you still have states where they're like, we're not going to let you work. We're going to shut you down. You can't earn. But yet they're going to elevate people that work in grocery stores as the untouchable class. You work in a grocery store, you're making minimum wage, but you know what? Those workers we can't do without. Those seem to be like the collateral damage. Hey, if things are so bad, let's sacrifice the grocery store workers. Let's sacrifice the ones at Target and a Walmart. But if you have a small business, you can't open. You have to shut your doors. You're not allowed to sell anything. You can't sell the same products they're selling in that store because that just isn't going to be right. And they're doing the same thing over here. You just look around at the policies and they all mimic one another. It's all the same stuff, just slightly different, right? Slightly different. Look at this XRP derivative. You know what? Just go ahead with the earn program. As you said, other companies are already doing it. SEC won't tell how it's a security because they don't know. They have no idea. They're just saying it's a security. That's a security. That's a security. That's a security. They're all securities. You're on the right side of the law. Fight the good fight with Ripple. There you go. XRP deriv. Fight the fight with Ripple. Join Ripple. And that's the coalition. You got some stuff going on. I would go with the fair notice defense because of lack of regulatory clarity. And you can point to the fact that the SEC won't provide it to you when asked. Boom. Done. Complete. Move forward. I love this. Because there's a guaranteed return, it's not hard to see why they can consider it a security. Look at this guy, Dr. Gonzo. Virtually why implied ROI in a product could deem it a security based on the very broad definition using securities laws. But they're paying an interest on a stable coin, on a USDC. 4%, just like in the banks. But then it probably has some fluctuation if you read the small lines. If I have USDC on Coinbase and choose to lend it, it's considered a security. But if I put USD in my 0.1% APY savings account, it's not considered a security. They're both guaranteed returns. Exactly. It's like probably because it's essentially guaranteed returns, and that's not how money works. There has to be risk as well as winners and losers for this giant game of poker to work. Otherwise, the economy won't work. What? They do realize what they're doing. But it's exactly how bank interest works. Even throughout history, when interest was high, putting money in a bank to earn interest while they loan out your money has never been a security product. So how is this different? Exactly. I mean, look at that crap. So, and then, so here you have, right? You have Coinbase. And now look at Stuart Alderati. Right? You have Brad Garlinghouse. Hang on. The SEC's continued warfare on crypto continues to play out. In December 2020, I said that we'd been having discussions with the SEC for nearly 3 years about XRP and yet never been met with clarity. Sound familiar? Thankfully, today, many recognize the havoc caused by regulation by enforcement. We're ready to work with the responsible actors, pro-innovation members of Congress, and others in paving a path to clarity and certainty with U.S. regulators. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So here he is saying, forget the SEC. The SEC is out of control. We're ready to work with the regulators that want to work with pro-innovation members of Congress. Brad Garlinghouse is throwing out the olive branch. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat, doesn't matter. If you're pro-innovation and you're a responsible actor, look at the difference in terminologies, right? It's brilliant. From what you see there, from Brian Armstrong's use of terminology to Brad Garlinghouse's use to how they described what's going on with the SEC. Responsible actors, pro-innovation. Anybody that is there to pave a path to clarity and certainty, positive, uplifting. We're here. We want to work together. We want to do this, but we're not going to work with you if you're a jackass. And he says, and I've been warning about this since December 2020, that 3 years they've been talking about it. Brian Armstrong is just learning his lesson now as he's getting smacked around with a 20 rant tweet here, right? And he's getting it because they refuse to tell him. They're not acknowledging anything. They won't tell him, just, you better do it or we're going to sue you. Stuart Alderod, he says, we are told to engage with the SEC in good faith. And what do we get? Enforcement actions or threats of them with no clarity. Their preferred method of strong arm intimidation and inconsistency, applying unclear rules, hurts consumers and markets in the end. Look at this in tandem. Brian Armstrong smacking it out of the park, pure gold. What in the hell? The SEC is sketchy behavior. Super sketchy behavior. Stuart Alderod, their preferred method of strong arm intimidation. Also, commentary on what's going on over here. Because they're like, if you do this, if you don't listen to us, we're going to sue you because it's a security. Well, why? We're not going to tell you why. It's not your business why. You just do what we say. That's strong arm intimidation. And they're inconsistent. Some UK, Singapore, Japan, etc. have clear frameworks for innovation to flourish. Again, look at the terminology, innovation and flourish with consumer and market protection, right? Others with sandboxes for safe collaboration between innovators and regulators. So they said, hey, let's create this environment. So you're an innovator. We're regulating. Let's all work together and figure this thing out because we know the direction it's going in. How did the U.S. end up with secret regulatory inquisitions? Figure that out. That's easy. Just look at the leadership. Look at those representatives that are lifers. They don't give a crap. They've been there forever. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I've been fighting for you for 43 years and have accomplished absolutely nothing. But send me back into Congress. Send me into the presidency. Send me to the Senate. And I'll keep on fighting and get zero results. 20, 30, 40 years. How long can you be over there until they die, right? Holy cow. Sophie, you're right. I've extended my welcome over here at an hour 12. Had you fired up. It's just like crazy stuff. Holy cow. 2 new settlement attorneys started this week for Ripple. That's going to be interesting. SEC employees dumping all their XRP. You can hear it. Oh my God. Twitter's the Wild West. That's for sure. So, man, oh man. So we've got XRP Crypto Wolf said, Ripple will beat the SEC so badly during the XRP lawsuit that it'll set a strong precedent with all future lawsuits for crypto. Oh my God, XRP Yoda, I'm hiding the SEC documents. Check, yes. Oh my God. That's a oh my God. CRN, XRP is a security. XRP is a currency. Look at that. Let's see. What do you think is going on in this picture? Let's see. This is a good one. Maybe this needs to be sent over to them as well. Man, oh man. What good stuff. I mean, but then you look at this and you got to be bullish on the whole market, right? It's freaking awesome. It's awesome. This whole thing is great. Glitched. Ethereum gifted the SEC staff with SEC to get clarity. Give us some clarity. It's so amazing. Extreme Boy said this is a friggin' mess, but our economy collapse will overshadow this soon. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane because, wait a minute. One last thing. Let's cap this off because Chip put this in here. Let me see if I can find it. El Salvador, El Salvador, El Salvador. Where is it? It was the last L. Here we go. This is brilliant. This is brilliant because, you know, this just shows these are the guys. Hang on, let me pause this nonsense. Did I put a? These are the guys that are saying that are doing all this insane stuff at the SEC and in Congress and voting on $1 trillion bills and all sorts of other stuff, all this insanity. U.S. is on track to default on the national debt in October. Whoops. Treasury Secretary Yellen on Wednesday warned congressional leaders the U.S. is on track to default on their national debt if the White House and Congress are unable to raise the debt limit. They keep raising the debt limit. That's like you running out and getting new credit cards. I maxed out that one. Let's get another. I maxed out. Okay, go get another one. All right, go get another one. All right, let's just keep raising it. They're going to run out of cash. Well, you're going to run out of cash, and you just passed a $1.2 trillion bill that you have no idea how you're going to pay for it. You ran out of cash on this stuff, and you have another three. So you got another what? $5 trillion. You're starting to figure out. Let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen here? She wrote a letter to Pelosi, McCarthy, Schumer, McConnell. Hey guys, guess what? We're running out of ways to handle this. Why don't they get their act together? What is this all really about? You know, you look at this and you're like, holy cow. Like Brucey's saying, what the, what the, oh my God. It's just crazy. It's crazy. New subject. Go on CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap had the glitch, which must have impacted the Coinbase, right? So let's look at CoinMarketCap real quick. What is it at? Where's XRP now? 80 cents. They got everything else going. 28% drops. It's 81 cents. Doge, that's crazy. Something's going on, right? You see drops like this, little errors going on. Are they, you know, alluding to something? Got USDC coin right now at 97 cents. Let's see. Hang on. Let's pull this up. XRP 81 cents, USDC at 97. This is CoinMarketCap. Any other irregularities over here? Somebody was saying that XLM was like 0.006. Uniswap is good. I don't know. All right. Well, whatever. This is some crazy stuff. Some crazy stuff. So you guys are awesome. You guys know if you're brand new here, you've never showed up. Oh, here we go. We've got the True King, Bitcoin, and BTCZ. Don't know what BTCZ is, but he's saying BTCZ, and he gave us a little bit of support. So appreciate the support. You got TradingView going. But if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. It always helps us subscribe to On the Chain. You get a lot of great content like this. We do stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys are amazing. We do have the smartest subscribers, smartest participants in our chat of any other crypto channel that I've seen. But I'll tell you what, it definitely helps the On the Chain grow when you subscribe, even hitting that bell notifier, and especially hitting the big thumbs up. Appreciate all you guys. I won't be back here tomorrow night. I've got a meeting runs from like 6 to 8:30 or something like that. Hopefully Chip will be here tomorrow night. Hopefully we can get him on tomorrow night. But we'll talk about that. I will also miss Saturday, and I'll be back for Sunday. Saturday I have a meeting as well. So we will not have an 8 a.m. show unless Chip does the 8 a.m. show, or I pre-record something, which I might do on Friday. So we'll see how that all goes. But you guys are amazing. Glad you guys stuck in there. I can't believe I hung in there for an extra 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes That's an hour 20 total. You guys are amazing. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys back here on the chain. And we'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.